Well, I think it'll be harmful for growth right away. If the purpose of the quantitative easing is to ease financial conditions, thereby, according to the Fed chairman's op-ed, make the stock market go up, make some people feel wealthy, and then go out into the stores and buy things, that's offset by the fact that they're trying to create inflation. And they may not get the inflation where they want. They'd love the inflation to be in house prices, but they might get it instead in oil prices or cotton prices or food prices. And there's already a lot of evidence of this. And the problem is that those prices affect a large number of people who have to buy these sort of necessities of life.
Food and shelter.
Right.
And
and clothing and energy. And if the prices of those things go up, they're not going to have as much money to buy other things. And so you may actually not get any increase in demand. You may actually slow down economic growth. And that is separate and apart from the longer term ramifications of going through a process of effectively money printing, buying, creating electronic money to buy treasury securities, which is what this so-called quantitative easing ultimately amounts to.
Now, one of the things you just mentioned is inflation, and we are seeing inflation in hard assets. And one of the hard assets that you own at Greenlight Capital is gold. It's your largest position. What does gold represent to you in your portfolio?
To me, gold represents money. And there's different types of money. Some people think gold is a commodity and they want to think about jewelry demand and how many weddings there are in India and so forth, and how much is coming out of the ground. I think of gold as money. And you can have dollars, or you can have yen, or you can have euros, or you can have pounds, or you can have gold. And there's other currencies in other countries, but those are the sort of the major currencies as I see it. And I think that the merit of gold is given our current monetary policy and our fiscal policy, as well as the problems in the other major currencies, gold is the money, I think, of choice that we would like to have a meaningful amount of our assets denominated in.
And so how meaningful an amount do you have?
We haven't really said.
It's
the biggest position in the fund.
For individual investors who don't have the kind of flexibility that you do to trade and nor the sophistication, I mean, how should we view gold as individuals? I mean, should it be in all of our portfolios, and should we too view it as a substitute for paper?
I think so. I think it makes sense as a diversifier, and to have this sort of money, particularly because this is the kind of money that Chairman Bernanke can't print more of.
You told me that your grandfather saw the debasement of currency coming really early on in the 1970s. What did he see that worried him so much, and what is it that still worries you today? And it's the Einhorn heritage.
Well, I don't know if it's a heritage, but from the time I was probably a teenager, my grandfather wanted to have the gold talk with me. So that's, kind of like a family thing. Frankly, he wanted to have the gold talk with everybody.
So he was a gold bug.
He was a gold bug. Absolutely, he was. And frankly, after hearing about it and thinking about it for a while, I really was a non-believer. He kind of predicted eventually what would happen. Eventually there'd be an inflation. Eventually the government would print too much money, so on and so forth. And he decried the deficits and the entitlements and all the things that are coming more into focus now. And so quite frankly, I think he was a few decades too early. But as I kind of see it now, and as early as 5 years ago, I didn't see this at all. But as of now, I kind of see that, and he always said this would happen eventually. He didn't really know when. Unfortunately, it's going to happen beyond his life, but I can kind of see things coming through the way, almost exactly the way that he would have described.